All set up and ready to go. So, hello everyone and welcome to Dyson Sphere program, I guess. Let's start up a new game. I don't know enough to know what settings I might want to change. So we are just going to mind our business. Do you want frequent hints about what to do next in the game? Sure. Let's have frequent hints. That seems like a good idea.
The unknown.
We gotta start a
Created
cutscene.
in exploration. The seed evolves in iteration. From zero,
Very cool.
transforming into
Very cool
infinity
animations so
and
far.
beyond. It spreads and becomes the shadow of the galaxy.
That's ominous. Very ominous. Okay. Crazy cinematic cutscene so far. I imagine the actual game won't be much like this. But who knows?
As dark fog rises, the stars dim. You will embark on a new journey.
Arrive at target cluster.
Alright. I have control over the camera now.
Welcome to the real universe. Very soon, you'll find this place different from our homeland. But you should be able to adapt to the laws of physics here in no time. I'm your advisor. I will assist you in completing this mission.
Okay. Just casually flying through space. Very cool.
Everything here belongs to you. As a member of the Cosmo, a pioneer of the Dyson Sphere program, you will explore this cluster from ground zero. Make use of the resources available here to build a Dyson Sphere that supplies energy to the center brain to maintain homeland simulation.
Okay.
I've chosen
so
a
we're
planet
running
for the mission,
a
and
simulation.
there are essential resources for the initial
Interesting.
development. Now, please pilot the space capsule toward this planet.
Oh, I have to do something? Do I have to do anything, or? Okay, I've been clicking buttons and nothing's happening, so it's probably still just automated, hopefully. Headed towards a planet-looking thing. And
Unknown EM signals detected. Extracting feature variables. Comparing with database.
okay, so those are the bad guys.
Are highly likely anomalous mechanical bodies from the Mechanic Energy Program. Engineers call them dark fog. Dark fog is extremely sensitive to EM signals under a regular pattern, so they may launch an assault on us. To stay low profile, we will land on the other side of this planet.
Space capsule will land on the target planet in 3, 2, 1.
Hooray!
Landed.
You've landed.
This is Icarus, a very powerful but lightweight industrial
control.
mecha. Use the direction keys or click the right mouse button on the ground to move the mecha. In this mission, you'll control your mecha to navigate the universe and create miracles.
Neat. There's a left mouse button click.
Now
Pop up
please
there.
try to disassemble the space capsule. Click the right mouse button to proceed.
Okay, so your right mouse button to click on something to dismantle.
To collect resources like wood or gravel, click the right mouse button as well. In addition, you can hold Shift and click the right mouse button on each of your targets to give a series of commands.
Okay, so shift right mouse button.
Some
Q.
items are found after disassembling the space capsule. Click on the inventory button at the bottom right corner of the screen to open and check.
And its hotkey is E, so that will be useful. We've got hydrogen fuel rods, iron ingots, magnets, and copper ingots. Alright.
You can hold the middle mouse button to rotate the camera, or scroll the mouse wheel to zoom in and out.
Okay. Pretty normal so far. So right click on a tree. That's how you start Minecraft. So that's how we're going to start this. Okay. New tutorials. There sure are a lot of tutorials. Background. Alright, this is the lore. Powerful in the future, humanity advances into a highly...
Construction menu is locked. Complete a technology research to unlock it.
Look at that later.
Click on the technology tree button at the bottom right corner of the screen to open the technology tree and start a research.
Okay.
If you need help, press G to open the guidebook for detailed instructions.
Okay, so click on this. We need 10 magnetic coils. Double click item to view recipe. Okay, a lot of windows popping up. Okay. I think I've figured it out, kind of. And so then that does the research and unlocks this, which gives us wind turbines, Tesla towers, and mining. Alright, so that's just going to be the basic starts of stuff, I guess. Unlocked a new type of automatic mining machine. It performs automated mining for you. Capacity is limited, so you might want to automatically deliver ores to the smelters. So Tesla towers are power poles. Wind turbines are power generation. Understandable.
You've obtained a mining
other
machine.
Tab over here.
It automatically collects ores.
There's a lot of stuff in here.
You can select it in the inventory or in the construction menu, collecting section, to start building it.
Okay. So what's in here? Got upgrades for stuff and things. Alright, we're just going to ignore that for now. So, I guess we'll probably have this iron ore vein over here. This is collecting. And we apparently just have one of these by default.
Hold R to rotate the mining machine. The more veins it covers,
it's definitely not holding R, it's
the
definitely
output.
tapping R. But
to ignore
close
grid
enough.
snapping, hold Shift.
So we get that placed.
Insufficient items. Click on the replicator button at the bottom right corner of the screen
And
to
that's
open the replicator and
basic
manually replicate
crafting.
the required items.
Sure, and then I guess we need to power this. So we get a wind turbine. And use that. And it works. Huzzah.
You've now built your first power grid. Some power facilities don't have a power supply range, so you'll need to extend the power grid coverage with Tesla towers.
Yes, these are power poles. And we're now mining iron ore. And that's going, I guess. So this is a limited resource. Right, there's 57,000 iron in there, so it's more like Factorio in that sense. Okay, so what other, I guess, just continue technology? So we've got all sorts of assembling and smelting and stuff, and up here are belts and what are those? Sorters? Okay, so those are inserters basically, and that's gonna be a storage chest. Okay, so we're gonna have to craft all sorts of stuff to get those. And then down here we've got fluid storage. Should be straightforward. I have no idea what that's for. That's just like an intermediate component and an engine and a weapon system. Okay, there's a whole lot of stuff in here, which I don't know how to deal with, but I'm sure it'll work out. So, let's figure out what we need to do first. I guess let's get belts. Belts seem like a cool thing to have. So we need 10 circuit boards and 10 gears. Which is probably... Okay, so if I click on that to grab them from the inventory, and now I have 50 iron ore. So, I need 10 gears, so we will click on that and queue those up. Straightforward enough.
Replication complete.
And then circuit boards. We queue up 10 of those, and it looks like it automatically queues up the prerequisites for that, so that's all good. So at some point we're going to need to get a supply of copper. But for now, let's get belts unlocked. And then, okay, so we've got different tabs here. So we need all sorts of stuff to do that. Let's grab more iron out of there, and I believe you can just right-click on a patch to manual mine. Okay, yes, so we can do that. And we have belts
You've
now.
obtained sorter and conveyor belt. Full automation is now possible. Use a conveyor belt to transport ores collected in the mining machine. The sorter will transport ores onto the conveyor belt into the arc smelter.
Alright.
And will smelt them
So
automatically.
we've got some copper ore now. So if we queue up another one of those, we can start working across the 10 billion prerequisites to get another mining machine. And then we're going to need to unlock some of these things.
Replication complete.
So, you can put the mining machine right there.
You have an
And
unpowered production facility.
yes,
To make
we
it
sure
run
do.
normally, place it within the power grid coverage and make sure power is supplied.
Okay, so we also
When
have
building a
belts and
conveyor
stuff.
belt, confirm its starting point
Insufficient
and end
materials.
point. Use up arrow to raise the conveyor
So I'm
belt
gonna need
one
more
level. Use down arrow to
Okay.
lower the conveyor belt one
conveyor
level.
belt tutorial.
It has been raised.
Up. So
Press
this
keypad 0 to reset the conveyor
is
belt to ground level.
3D.
To avoid the conveyor
So that's
belt
cool.
snapping to a building, try holding shift.
Alright, so that's all happening.
Insufficient materials.
Okay, so we're just
Replication
finished crafting that, so we can pop you down. And now we've got automated copper mining going as well. Right. Working this out, and this whole thing is actually just taking place on a sphere, by the way. Okay, so we can build conveyor belts like this. So I guess let's just do that. And we've got we've sort of got drone type stuff here, like from Factorio. Not entirely sure how that works. Oh, so you have to do that to get it in, and that's pointing the wrong way. Reverse path. And then how does this work? Okay, so you have to click from the starting point to the ending point. You can't, like, build in reverse. Okay. So, we've got that, and now we need to craft up 10 magnetic coils and 10 circuit boards. So, that is... Each recipe produces 2, so we have to queue up 5 of those. And then, same thing for the circuit boards. We queue up those, and eventually that will get us to automatic smelters. At some point, we're going to have to read all these tutorials. But for now, it's a bit tough. Okay, so that's done. Ooh, what's this down here? Core energy. Oh boy. Mecha panel. Saw this earlier. So we have some sort of default power generation, and then you can add fuel, maybe. Seems like we're generating 80 kilowatts naturally. We have a battery. This is confusing. Okay. Even walking changes the amount of power. Well, that's confusing. Okay.
Research complete.
So we've done that. Arc smelter unlocked. So now we can automate iron and copper ingots. And did it give us... Yes. The recipes give us those for free. Okay, so now we get to figure out how these get attached in.
You've built an arc smelter, which
So
automatically
sorter
produces basic materials, such as iron ingots and copper
starts
ingots.
there,
However,
and goes
to automatically
there.
feed in raw materials and feed out products, sorters
So
and
how
conveyor
does the
belts
distance
are
work?
required.
Because I left a bit of space there.
The sorter is
As
a
I'm
connector
accustomed to
that
from
moves items
Factorio.
between facilities.
But I don't know if
Simply
that's actually
bridge
necessary
from
or
a supplier
not.
facility to a receiver facility.
Also, we need to
Then
get...
the sorter will automatically
We
transport
need to get some
items.
good power grids up here. So Tesla Tower. Let's just cook up like 10 of those. Just so that we have plenty. And then so we've got the little lines there showing that that's connected.
You've built your first power transmission facility.
Okay.
A Tesla
you
tower.
select recipe.
It can help you transmit power wirelessly over a short range and extend the power grid coverage. Click on it to view
I
more
can't help
details.
but notice that Tesla tower is it's at the center of grid points. Don't know what that means, if anything. So we set you to copper ingots.
Once a
and now
recipe
you
is
just do
set,
that.
use less than key to copy the current recipe, and
Okay.
greater than key to paste the recipe to the next build.
Okay, so there are copy paste, so we've got that going for us.
Replication complete.
And what do we even do with all this stuff? I guess we're just gonna want to put it in a box for now. I guess we don't even need to do that. We can just grab it manually for now. Let's get basic assembling set up next. This upgrades thing keeps popping up as like it wants me to do something. Okay, it's definitely not any of this stuff. They've got weird mysterious cubes. Mecha core seems possible to do. So I guess at some point we should get around to that. So that gives us plenty of copper plates. That gives us iron ore, which we'll be working on it. And then we need to craft up these items. So we get 10 of those, and then 5 of those, which doubles to 10. Okay, so this kind of is making sense. Seems like we have power concerns. Seems like we have power concerns that's sort of flickering. So, let's see. Is there some way of copy-pasting this item
Replication
and
complete.
placing it somewhere, or do I have to go to the menu every time? So, we can connect up that second wind farm, and that should help the power a little bit. Somehow managed to collect soil. Not sure what that is, but now we are about to
Research complete.
get basic assembly. Oh, I just noticed this goals thing over here, which would have been useful to have. Alright, so we've unlocked the assembly machine Mark 1. Use it to process ingots and other raw materials in advanced products. And yeah. Okay, so I guess before we really worry about that, we should get some more belts. So let's get plenty of belts. That should give us 30 of them. And that is going to let us do iron ingot smelting as well as the copper ingot smelting. And that should help us get something out of the assembly machine. Okay, now let's say you're placed right there, so directly next to it. Can an inserter... Okay, too close. That is a thing. So how do I demolish now? Dismantle facilities there. You just click on it and we pick it up. Alright, so that's simple enough. So, we've got
Replication
that.
complete.
We've got all of our conveyor belts. Okay, yeah, so it's weird. Things seem to be centered on the intersections rather than the spaces. Which, I don't know whether I like that or dislike it, but it is an observation. So now we have, just like that, we have copper ingots on that conveyor belt. Now we get this belt to go out like so. And I guess sort of like Factorio, it's going to be best to stand close by so that the things can get queued up quickly. And then we're going to get another smelter in. And then you go into there. And somehow that's not within power range. I'm so used to hitting Q from Factorio to copy paste. But I don't know if there is such an option here. So you are going to be just smelting iron ingots. And the belts here don't have 2 lanes like Factorio belts do, so that's also all sorts of observations. It's more satisfactory-like than Factorio-like, I guess. Although it's not hugely different either way. Okay, so previously, when it was machine-to-machine, like directly like that was too close, but here it's fine. How do you rotate things so I can see into here? Okay. So we also have hotbars, so this is F1. So these 2 belts, I guess, run down like that. And then that goes in. And I don't even know what we're going to be making here. Let's say gears. And we need more power, apparently. So let's see what we can do about that. How many of these... What's the limiting factor? Just iron, presumably? Yeah, it looks like the limiting factor is iron, so let's
Replication
grab a
complete.
whole bunch of those. And that should let us queue up even more wind turbines. And then we can start popping those down, and you can't build them too close apparently. So we will be building them like there. So this now has made all of the gear wheels that it's going to be making.
Insufficient materials.
So now we need to craft up more sorters. Why does everything always have slightly different names in all these games? Why can't they be inserters?
Replication complete.
That's fine. Alright, so then that goes out onto a belt, which I'm going to need more belts. So yeah, you can actually build belts extremely close to machines here, so that's convenient. And let's grab some of these guys so that I can do the manual crafting. And let's get that done. Alright, goals, electromagnetic matrix. Unlock electromagnetic matrix and produce one. Alright, so those are my next goals apparently. So we activate that, and we need to do 10 of these. What is magnet is directly from ore. Okay, that's weird. So we get some of that. Then we go to here and we craft up 10 of those and 10 of those. And this is getting a whole lot easier with even just the basic automation that we have here. Getting a lot of that process done immediately. And hopefully that will continue to become easier until we don't have to do this.
Fuel is required for mecha's every
Okay,
activity.
yeah, I noticed
When
that.
energy is exhausted, its action will be restricted. You can click on the mecha panel button at the bottom right corner of the screen to open the mecha panel and replenish the fuel chamber.
Okay, so we've got this hydrogen fuel rod, I guess. We can just put that in, and then boom, plenty of power.
Research complete.
So electromagnetic matrix research complete. That, what did that do even? I don't think I even checked. It unlocks a blue cube in a matrix lab, which... Okay, so this is science production. Got it. And we still got all these guys in here. Let's activate that. And apparently we need a bit more resources to completely finish it. So is there more information in here? Covered by fuel rods. You can gain wooden plant fuels from trees. And then there's advanced fuels later on. And then we've got some sort of magical supply power by default. And okay, there's also weapon systems which we might need at some point. Alright, so now we can build the matrix lab, which can be used to produce matrices. So I don't even know what that is going to entail, so let's just build it and see what happens.
Matrix
Upgrade
lab.
complete.
A facility to produce matrices. It can also be used to research technologies that are unlocked with matrices.
You say matrices, funny.
Matrices
I'm not
are
sure
the source
that's
codes
not how
to
that's
maintain the
pronounced.
center brain simulation of a homeland.
I'm not gonna
You
name
can
it,
upload
though.
as many matrices to the center brain to run its simulation and unlock more technologies in the real world.
Alright, so produce. We need those same things that we've been doing this whole time. Okay, fair enough. So we need to, I guess, just automate those then. So we need magnets in smelters, and magnetic coils, and circuit boards. Okay, so we need a smelter over here, which takes input from there and makes magnets. All right, so we've got those now, and then we need to output them onto a belt. I keep hitting. Gonna have to learn muscle memory for what all the buttons do. So we have magnetic coils now. And what else did we even need? Magnetic coils and copper ingots. Okay, so you go away. And instead, we want to craft up probably a couple of these. That's going to take a while, but in the meantime, hopefully we can get the belts running. So this is going to come down here and into this sort of general area. And that should be accessible from an assembly machine, which I don't know how long these sorters can reach. Also, how's the power grid? Generation is
complete.
900 kilowatts, consumption is 600, so we're doing fine there. And we can't build there because there's an ocean. No, there's a small puddle. Wonderful. Thank you, small puddle. I appreciate you for being in that exact spot. Okay, we are going to have to get creative then. So you go over there instead. And this belt doesn't need to do all that anymore. Instead, we need you to be automated like that, and we need to get the copper belt over this way. And this is already becoming infinitely spaghetti, but that's fine. That's what the start of the game is for. Okay, can I just craft up like a bunch of sorters so that we don't have to worry about that so much? Okay, so then sorter goes into there, and we've got these.
Replication complete.
So then the other thing we need is just circuit boards, which are just iron plates. Where are my iron plates? Here they are. We need more belts, definitely. And these are all going to be things which we need to automate, but we're going to take this one step at a time. Just get this matrix thing automated. So we have science. That will be cool. And it doesn't produce these. It produces these all in one giant batch, which is a bit interesting. Alright, so I need you to sort of run along
complete.
this way. And it looks like that doesn't connect across, which is quite convenient. That would have been an issue otherwise.
Now you can click the planet thumbnail button at the bottom left
Planet
corner
thumbnail,
of the screen.
but why can
or
I do
press
that now?
M to enter planet view.
Okay.
In the planet
Neat.
view, you can hold the middle mouse button to rotate the camera. Hold the
Okay,
right
so
mouse
bad
button
guys
to
are over
roll the
there.
camera. Press
We're
N
over here.
to align the camera to the North Pole.
And to align the camera to the North Pole. What
In the
did that
planet
do?
view, scrolling the mouse
Okay.
wheel also enters the star
I
map.
see. And scrolling the mouse wheel enters the star map, which is that whole thing. Okay, let's just not worry about that for the time being. Can we just go back to regular mode? Thank you. All right, so assembly machine goes there. And then we need our belts to go forwards and get popped in. Then you make circuit boards. And apparently we need power production to reach over here as well. So let's just put down a random Tesla tower. And both of these are successfully functioning. So now we just need a belt to go out of both of these. And you feed onto that, you feed onto that. And now, if we get this matrix lab thing in, and that, and you can produce science packs, and apparently we need more power. Fortunately, I have a couple of wind turbines pre-crafted. So let's get a couple more of these guys in, and hope that that is enough now. So, we're producing these. Now, I guess we're going to need another one of these guys. Oh, and we're going to need glass in order to craft it. Alright, so how does one get glass aside from the obvious? Alright, so I guess we just get a smelter. Where are those?
Insufficient materials.
Okay, arc smelter needs stone bricks, which needs stone. So I guess this is how we're getting stone for now. There's got to be a better way of doing this. So we can pick up some random scraps there and get another arc furnace. Alright, so is there like a stone node? That's coal. Those are just random boulders.
Replication
Alright,
complete.
I don't know how to actually get a reliable supply of stone. Is it... I can look in this view. So there's coal up there. There's more iron over there. More iron over there. Alright, I have no idea how to get coal. Or how to get stone. So that will be a problem, but for now we can sort of brute force it by just picking up the random rocks lying around and tossing them into there. So that gives us our glass. And we only need 4 glass to make one of those, so that should be plenty. Okay. So we have that going. And it should be crafted any second now. I should have grabbed the components going into that from my machine, so I didn't have
Replication complete.
to do all that work. So then you just go there, and where's these? You get connected across, and apparently that's not close enough to a Tesla tower, so let's pop another one in. And consumption is real low for some reason. Okay, so you are set to do science, which you would be doing if there was any science queued up. Upgrade. The goal says to upgrade cosmic exploration. Sure. So we're doing that now. And up it goes. And apparently we have enough. I don't know what this hash per second thing is. Oh, but there's not enough power when all of that is going. So we're going to need even more wind turbines. But we're almost there anyways. It's fun to see these
Upgrade.
slightly different animations. Alright, you can now view the distribution of ore reserves on the planet. All ores on this planet can be located more easily now.
You've unlocked Universe Exploration. Now you can click the Detailed Display button at the bottom right corner of the screen to enable real-time vein distribution.
Alright, I just got an achievement for having a whole lot of power consumption. That's pretty neat. Okay, so we click on that. What is that? Oh, okay, I see. So we can click on that to have the power grid visible at all times, which I think we probably will. We can click on that to have all the veins available at all times. Okay, so don't go wandering around. And then there's also a defensive range thing. Okay, so I still don't know how one acquires stone. But collected from stone veins, yes. Well, if I were a stone vein, where would I be? All the way over there? All the way over there, apparently. So there's one up there. There's some over this way, which are relatively close, I guess. So that's just going to be a bit of a nuisance to get to. Upgrade. So our next goal is to upgrade Icarus to obtain flight mode. What is that? How it just says that as if it's easy. Let's see here. Drone engine, drive engine, maybe unlocks mecha flight. Yes. Okay. So that takes a whole bunch of stuff which we don't have. So that goal is going to be for the future, I guess. So in the meantime, we've got all this science. What we need more power. So let's run over what exactly goes into this. Iron plates, gear wheels, and the whatever these things are. Magnetic coils. So let's just grab a chunk of each of those. And that should let us craft up just another bunch of those, which should solve our power problems. And then while those power problems are being solved, we've got EM drive, which unlocks electric motors. We've got engine, which unlocks that. Let's do weapon system, just in case. I don't know how this whole attacking thing works with dark fog, but this is ticking up. So presumably we're going to want that to be finished sooner rather than later. And yeah, you can definitely see the power grid complaining.
Replication
So let's
complete.
just run around and put more of these guys in. Okay, there's actually a copper vein right there, which is going to be in the way. So let's sort of just bring these off this way. Through the power of massive, poorly planned out wind farms, we are going to completely box ourselves in and not have any space to do anything. But that's fine, because now we have 4 megawatts of power, and consumption demand is a lot less than that, so we should be fine. So that is that. There's a little timestamp down here of how long we've been playing, it seems. It's neat. Okay, so this is what it is. So I guess our next step is going to be automating things which we want to have available. So belts first and foremost, iron plates and iron gears. which... Okay, so if we just put this stupid puddle over here, there's not... I haven't already unlocked the ability to fill in that, right? I think that's a thing. It said, like, hasn't unlocked foundations or something. Alright, weapon system unlocked. Very cool.
You've unlocked the weapon
A
system.
number of tutorials
Can now
that I
be
haven't
found.
read.
Press C
just
to
piling
open the
up.
mecha panel. Load the magazine and activate it. Use ammo to
Okay,
protect
let's
both
craft
yourself and
more
the base
belts
when Dark Fog
manually.
strikes.
And then we can use those. See if we can figure out how to do all this without it being a massive problem.
Replication
So
complete.
you can... There was some button you could click. Up arrow or something. To make it go up. Okay, but it does need space to go up, apparently. So... that slopes up that way. Then comes over here. And... then can drop back down over there, I guess. This is rough. It said there was the ability to make slopes steeper with later tech, right? So hopefully we can just rely on that. And now we have to get access to all of the... Hopefully the inserters can run a long way. Not inserters, sorters. Okay, that's too far. So basically... Okay, it's too far, but we should be able to get it closer, right? So we take you out. We have a good angle on it now, so if you go in there, hopefully this will now be close enough. Yes, so you go in, and what is going on? Oh, there's already an inserter there. There's an inserter there, so it has to be there in order for it to line up. And then you make belts. And then we had the
Insufficient
depots,
materials.
which we need stone bricks for, which is still an issue. So let's go find some other rocks to mine. And... okay, apparently we got titanium ore somehow from that. I didn't even know titanium ore was a thing. Okay, yeah, this is very mysterious. But now we should be able to hopefully craft some depots. And we're going to craft up a couple of them. Because we're going to need belts and loaders and... they're not loaders, what are they called? Sorters? We're going to need belts and sorters and machines at the very least. So you go into
complete.
there.
You've built a depot for storing items. You can manually store items or
Then
use a sorter to automatically access
we
items.
need more... we need more iron ingots to make more loaders. So let's grab those. Okay, so you go into there, and then this is going to be limited to maybe 3
If there
slots.
isn't enough ground space,
Works the same
make
way as
more efficient
Factorio.
use of your space by stacking matrix slabs, depots,
Is that
storage tanks, and splitters.
Inserter just diagonal for no reason? Why is that diagonal? Okay, that's weird. No, I don't like that, whatever's going on there. But now we have automated belt production, which is cool. So, the next thing we need is automated sorter construction, which needs iron plates and these... what are these even called? Circuit boards? Iron plates and circuit boards. Which would be a whole lot easier if I hadn't just jammed my iron plates into a corner here. So, let's tear you apart. And now we can have you sort of come out a little bit. And you also go out. And now we can put these two guys back in. And just redo all of that. So you are set to produce mode. You are set to research mode. And then these belts need to extend a little bit further to go in to this. Deflection too much. Yeah, why is there any deflection? There shouldn't need to be. Oh, you're trying to connect all the way over to there for some reason. Why are you doing that? Just go into the machine. Like that. Okay, yeah, no. Why were you making a whole fuss about that earlier? Who knows? There's a tiny gap where there isn't power. Hopefully that won't come back to bite us. Should be fine. And then this connects across like so. And that gives us our science back. And now we run over this way. We grab our belts. And okay, for now, we don't even need 3. Let's just set that down to like 1. Because 100 belts is quite a lot for how many we need so far. And now we can just sort of run that guy down through that little gap, which I'm sure won't come back to bite me in any horrible way. Then we get another assembly machine in. And let's just craft up a couple of you. That definitely doesn't need to exist for where it is. It's just going to be in the way. Alright. So, how's that crafting going? Crafting a bunch of intermediate components. Can I just grab those? And just try this again. Alright, so now we can just craft those directly. And assembly machines acquired. So, you can go in and you're going to be making sorters, which actually, that's not a good spot for you, because we need to access the iron plates and the circuit boards, so having it over here will be better, probably, I don't know. So then that belt runs down to there. We're going to need to manually craft some sorters for the last time. And then that goes in. That goes in. And I made a couple boxes, so now you all get to output to a box, and we have to set the recipe. So there we go. And this can be limited to a stack. Don't even know how many go in a stack. It doesn't say, so that's fine. But now we have belts and loaders automated. How do these work? That's a turret. And it's going to take ammo of just copper, I guess? Okay. So this is up to 65%, so I guess we'd probably better get ahead of that a little bit. So let's produce 2 of you, and then if we get... Oh, this is all terrible. This is not how we want to be doing this, but but whatever. So you can create ammo, and then
Replication complete.
that output belt can go down here, and the fact that this, the simple fact that this is on a sphere, I don't like that. That's terrible. Whatever. Not that bad. So that goes in, and now we have ammo on belts, and we have the ability to make defense turrets. I don't even know where these need to be going to defend. Like, they're on the other side of the planet, right? So if we go to map mode, we are here, and they are like all the way over there. I have no idea what direction they're going to come from. So I guess we'll just place these down and hope that we won't place them down. We will pick up some ammo for our personal inventory. Okay, guide to turrets. And you use a conveyor belt to feed ammo in. You can either directly build turrets on conveyor belts or use conveyor belts to string turrets together. And then they have a special ability, which takes a lot of power grid. Okay, sure. Probably just going to assume that that's not going to be necessary. So we have the ability to make turrets, and I guess so. You exist
You've built
now.
a Gauss turret. This is a
And
defense facility. It consumes ammo
that
and
goes to
energy to
there.
strike enemies within its range. You can either directly build Gauss
So now if they
turrets on
attack from
conveyor
this
belts
general
built
direction,
to
we'll be
the ground,
safe. If
or use conveyor
they
belts
attack from
to
another
string
general
Gauss
direction,
turrets
then
together.
we're doomed, but it's fine. Okay, so we have got basic defenses set up. What's next? So the next goal thing that they want is flight mode. So we need to get coal and engines for that, which means we should be running this. So that is going now. And we have enough blue... What are these called? Matrices? Matrices, yes. Okay, so while that's going, let's get assembly machines automated, maybe? Is that easy? So we've got plates, gear wheels, and circuits. So the iron plates are here, and it looks like we're going to need more of them somehow. Gear wheels are here, and I definitely did not leave myself a way of getting these poor guys out again. And then green circuits are doing green circuit things. So, let's see. If you
Research
just
complete.
go up. Okay. Yes, we've unlocked the engine. Thank you. Very cool. I have a selection which I want to remove, and I can't figure out how. Okay, can you, like, sneak through here? You can. And then you can go up. And then... Oh, this is not how you're meant to do this at all. Alright, but it's fine. The belt has escaped. And... yeah, we definitely need more iron plate production. That's obvious. But let's just get you down there. So you are buildings, assembly machines. And we just have to get all these belts in. So you continue along, and I don't like that. That... okay, apparently you're fine with that somehow. Sure. And then this We're gonna not be a fool this time. We're gonna leave the ability for you to get out. Wait, no. We need help. Get the buttons gone. Alright, so we need to redo all of that. So get the Tesla turret back in somewhere out of the way. And then this, I don't know why that's not connecting up the way I want it to. Like that. Oh, I see, because you're currently elevated, which I hadn't quite noticed. So let's bring you back a bit and then have you lose that elevation. Like so. Okay, now you go up this way and... Okay, yeah, no, that's just not gonna happen. I want to be able to have all of these belts have the ability to escape out further, but I think that's just gonna be basically impossible, so instead we'll have you go along like that. I'm gonna grab a stack of inserters, so that feeds in there. And then the green circuits can run down that way. And we sure are just building on this horrible seam here. But it's fine. So now we have those, which... Actually, let's not have those go out just yet. Those can just go directly into a box, as we've been doing for the other ones, which are going to store one stack. Okay, so that would be all good, except we don't have anywhere near enough iron plates. So that should be easy, because we actually have room back here. So we can run there, get you across, and connect all that up. And now that should be... You can copy paste the recipe. So now that's twice as many iron ingots, and it's 60 a minute when it has ingredients, but it doesn't have ingredients like half the time because these guys are slow. But hopefully just that improvement will get us there. So the conveyor belts are no longer taking any. All of these guys are doing stuff. And then it's just a question of when this happens. And okay, dark fog is 90-something%. Boy, there's a lot of stuff to do in the beginning of these games, huh? Let's pick a random research. Combustible unit, steel smelting, are any of these like actually useful in the short term? Upgraded logistics gives us splitters and stuff, and all of these are... Okay, wait, so the splitters are craftable with what we have. The sorters require something. I think that EM engine unit. Alright, yeah, let's just queue that up. We might as well get there eventually. And then these dark fog guys are going to attack in like 5 seconds. And eventually that sorter will be filled. Does the mech have...
Dark fog cluster is launching an assault.
Can I manually shoot ammo? I don't know if that works.
Warning. A dark fog planetary base has launched an attack.
Okay.
Icarus is equipped with laser weapon module, which can automatically strike enemies within its range.
That's not good.
Faster mecha power generation means a faster rate of fire.
So we're gonna need more
Fill
power,
the chamber
first
with
of all.
fuels and get ready to engage.
And we don't really have fuel to speak of, and it doesn't say where they're coming from. Okay, wait, no, it does? Is that what that little dot is there? So if we just run over this way. Got all of our coal veins up here, and yeah, there's a guy up there. Okay. Easy enough. And it looks like... Oh wait, no, there's even more. It says 0 units. Okay, so yes, now that has been cleared back down to 0. Problem solved. Dark Fog has been defeated, and it looks like we did just use
Laser weapon
ammo instead
consumes
of
mecha's
that.
core energy for charging. More advanced fuel can increase the
Speaking
fuel
of core
chamber's
energy,
power and the
that's
rate
all
of fire
messed
of
up.
laser weapon module.
So, let's start dealing with coal now. So, we can make another mining machine. Just craft that up. And we got all this coal up here. And how on earth? You have to like optimize it to get the most amount of stuff in or something. Okay, so now we can just like pop a wind turbine down to get you powered. Oh, wait. No, that didn't quite fit. Alright, so we will just put a Tesla tower then, and now we have coal mining. And apparently the power grid is now struggling again. So, more Tesla towers. And we need more stuff to do all this crafting. And that attack came up from this direction. So I guess we'll have to see if that's always the case, if they're nice and predictable or not. So I'm going to pick up those magnetic coils, which will allow us to queue up another 3 of those. And then we're also low on iron plates, just like the entire factory is. So that
Replication
is
complete.
going to need to be addressed at some point. So this massive wind farm can just keep getting more massive. And those go in, and we have a little bit better, but we're going to need to do something about this power production, because the wind farm is massive, and the factory is very tiny. But we do have a couple automated productions of depots, or of assembly machines, so that's good. And the sorters are at 199. Hopefully they cap out at 200, and we can be done with that. Alright, you are still producing, but now you're not outputting, so yeah, that should be just about it for the sorters until we have to pick up another stockpile of them.
Research complete.
All of this is going. We have splitters and faster inserters now, although we can't actually make the faster inserters, but it'll be fine. So now we head over to this mecha flight thing. So we need engines and coal, engines are the circle-y things, and copper, and then coal is just coal. So we've got all of these items automated technically. We're gonna need to get them out of here. And you go over that way, and then you loop back down. So that is the coal done. Or no, that's the copper done. I don't know why I said coal. Now we have to get these guys out somehow. Maybe, is it going to be easier if we just like get a second belt out of here? can we just like have you output to that belt too, which then can run all the way over this way and then around, and then we're gonna have to pick up more belts because of course we are. All right, another 300 belts for the pile. Now we can do all this. Core energy is exhausting. That's not ideal. What are we even using it all for? For drones, okay, that makes sense. Okay, so we need fuel. And even just walking around is expensive. So I guess we can chuck some logs in there. That should keep us going for a little bit, and then we can run up here to this coal. And step 1 is we just belt this coal all the way down there. And the drones are going to be doing that. However, before they finish, we're going to grab that. And now we have coal, which is not the best fuel in the world probably, because it's just a natural resource and they wouldn't make it that easy. But at least it's something. We're able to keep the lights on. And now we're going to be belting this coal over to be close to the factory, so we don't have to run all the way up there on low power mode or whatever. I don't know what happens. I don't know what actually happens if you run out of fuel. Let's try to stop ourselves from figuring out. Alright, so that all goes. These drones are kind of terrible. Not the world's fastest constructors. But that's fine. Okay, so we did get a couple of these sorter Mark IIs for free with the upgrades, so we should be able to... I don't know how to set that to upgrade. Upgrade facilities. Yes. So those are now faster, which should improve our supply of iron plates. That was like a minor problem. Okay, so what were we doing before? We were making engines, I think. Alright, so yeah, and we have plenty of assembly machines now. So we can grab those in our inventory. And this was like... Put you down there. Select recipe. Items. Engines.
Your vein is almost depleted.
Oh boy.
Ore reserves in each vein is limited. Once exhausted, the supply of raw ores can no longer be guaranteed, which will adversely impact production lines. Exploit new veins for replacement. Additionally, upgrade vein utilization to reduce ore loss during mining.
Okay, I do not know what vein you're talking about. All of these seem to have large numbers in them. I don't know. Maybe that's just a preemptive heads up or something. Alright, so then we bring power. So that's that. And you need... Right, you need these guys up here. That's what we were doing before we got distracted with the power grid almost exploding. And so then that runs down to there. And then we feed both of those into you to make engines, which I imagine we're going to be needing on a belt at some point. So let's just get that done. And are any of those... Alright, this belt hasn't been finished yet. That's why nothing was happening. So we run up there, place all that, and this should be going. So down we go, and now you should be running. and making engines. Very cool. So, okay, control plus left mouse button, it picks it up instantly. So, this drive engine thing needs 50 of them. So that's gonna take a while, so we can just let that cook, I guess. In the meantime, let's unlock this, because that's needed for the fancy loaders. Or why are they called sorters? They don't do sorting. Whatever. So, we've got this all going. This is running at 15 a minute, apparently. It's hard to tell how much demand it's taking per minute. And how's the power grid? It's still incredibly jank. Okay, so we've got all this technology stuff going. That's fine. Why was the screen blue for a second there? I don't know what was going on with that. Let's figure out what else can we automate. So we can automate Tesla towers if we had iron plates, wind turbines. Alright, we just need to get more iron plates. That's like our main thing right now. So do we have any arc smelters? No, but we can get some more by grabbing iron plates, because of course that's what we need. So we grab all of that, and so we can craft one more arc smelter, which hopefully will be enough. And that connects down to there. Then we get a super fast input and a slower output. I think this is like not 1-to-1 ratio, right? Okay, it is 1-to-1. But for some reason it's fine. Oh, it's because this output is shorter, I guess. Okay, so that's fine. We could fix that to not have to use the faster sorters up there, but it's okay as is. And yes, now we finally are starting to see a backlog of iron plates. And we've unlocked the electric motor. So you are missing gear wheels. But that's just because of how long it takes this inserter, not because you're actually short on them. Alright, so I think things are going reasonably well. And so the goals are get flight mode and unlock steel smelting is another one that it wants us to do. So let's oblige that. Click unlock steel smelting. That will happen eventually. And in the meantime, while that is running, what can we do? We can automate. Probably want to automate like splitters or something. Splitters are just like a basic logistics thing, which we're going to need 10,000 of to ever get anything done. And those are plates, gear wheels, green circuits, which is the same as assemblers somehow. Alright, so step one. Can you get out of here? Yes, you can. Okay. Cool. This is terrible. This whole thing is a giant mess, but we can get the plates out going around this way. And then they drop back down to ground level. then these guys need to also go up and over, and then back down to ground level, and then you need to go up and over and back down to ground level. Alright, so we've got all those. Now we get an assembling machine, which can just go up there. And okay, it's doing that whole deflection thing again, which I think just means that this has to be longer. And then hopefully we can reach all of these from there. So we just do that. You are set up to make splitters. And you get a power pole, which is fancily called a Tesla tower. And so now that is running, and now we just want a box to store them in, which needs more iron plates. So let's run over there. And do we have any iron plates to do this with? Not currently, but we can grab some. And let's craft up a couple of boxes. So that can go. Right, this game's been pretty interesting so far.
Replication
It's
complete.
definitely weird in a lot of ways, having to deal with the circles, like the sphere of the planet and stuff. It's definitely weird, but I think so far it's weird in an interesting way. Like it's like Factorio, but slightly different. It's like 2.5D almost. It's mostly flat, but then you've got these various levels that you can raise things to. Okay. So, this is all going, and we need to keep grabbing these engines, I guess, because we need like 50 of them to get flight mode, which is quite a lot. And let's actually just straight up get those into a box just so that that isn't an issue. So those can stack up to a couple. In the machine they only stacked up to 10. We will see if that is how they work here, or if that's just a limitation of the machine. Hopefully they stack up well. So that's up to 10. Okay, yeah, so they can stack up to plenty. So we're going to have one stack of those going. And the splitters are going, and we've got plenty of those now. So that's not a concern anymore. We also have traffic monitors, which require glass, which I still don't know how to get. I think glass is like from stone, but I don't know how to... The stone's all super far away. It's going to be a nuisance to run all the way over there to get it. Alright, so we're almost at the goal of flight mode, right? So we're at 39 out of 50, and then we're also going to need to grab like 100 some coal, which should be easy. So we can just pick up all of this stuff, run along this giant row, and then, alright, 150 coal. So steel complete. You can build wind turbines on water, hollow beacons on water. Neat. Alright, so we've got that. Then the next research it wants to do is plasma something refinery. which is past this. So I guess we'll do that, and then let's see if we run down here to get the engines. We should have 50 by now. So there's another 19. Yes, alright, so now we go into the tech tree, we go to upgrades, and we can queue up drive engine, which is faster, but consumes a lot of energy, and I guess presumably also lets you fly, which will be nice. Because currently we can't run through machines, but if we can fly, that would be cool. So the research is going, and we're doing some random research before we get the flight mode upgrade. So that will be a bit of a delay, but it'll be fine. And, oh, I keep hitting pause. I keep hitting pause accidentally. Where did that turret wind up? It's like in here. That's kind of in the middle of everything, which maybe is a good thing. Because it means that if they attack us, they might knock out our power, but they're not going to knock out all these machines before at least getting targeted by the turret. Now, whether it actually kills them or not in time is a whole different story, but I guess that's something we'll have to experiment with. So for now, research is going, and there's a whole lot of stuff which needs to be automated. So really we need stone, right? So arc smelter automation needs stone. And what was the other thing? It was like the boxes or something. The depot needs stone. The Matrix Labs needs glass. The traffic monitor needs glass. So let's go to map view. Where is the closest stone? It is up here. It's actually there's up there. It's not that far, I guess. It's still kind of far. So we can build a wireless power tower to transmit electricity remotely and charge the mecha, which then apparently also leads to crude oil or something. So the stone, the other stone is over here. So we could go in either that direction or down that direction to get stone. And let's head over this direction, maybe. So we head on over here. Actually, before we leave, we need to make sure.
Insufficient materials.
Okay, so we need to pick up iron ingots, as always. Maybe mining machines or something, which we're going to need to craft at some point. So let's grab some iron ingots. We've got to be almost catching up to all that backlogging at this point, right? So we can craft up a mining machine. And how many belts do we have? We have a bunch, but we could probably grab some more. Alright, so now we have a mining machine and a bunch of belts, and we're going to want to craft up like 10 billion Tesla towers, which is going to require even more iron plates, because of course it does. So hopefully that will be enough to get power. Who am I kidding? It's definitely not. So we can make this wireless power transmission thing, and that will let us, I guess if we just stand by it, we can stand here and
you've built a wireless
Mecha is
power
charging.
tower for transmitting power
Neat.
over a long range. The exciting part is that it can also draw power from the power grid to charge the mecha.
Cool. So that now lets us recharge without having to use fuel or anything, which is mildly convenient, I guess. We don't think it's that big of a deal, but it's something at least. And it looks like the power grid is definitely not happy with this. We're sitting at like 90% sufficiency while the mecha is charging. Our manual research is almost done. At least it's like halfway-ish. Okay, so now the mecha is fully charged and we don't have to worry about that anymore. So this connection length 45 meters versus 22 meters. So I guess using these to bring the power over that stone patch will be a bit better. So we go over here and we just sort of go off this way. Oh, that's real far. Okay. That's really far per thing. So I hope... Oh yeah, it's just right down here. Not that far at all to get to the stone. So that is in. And then you get a mining machine, which is within power. So that is set up and should give us stone. Now we just sort of need this belt to run along this way. And that's going to need to bring the stone all the way back because we are not walking all the way out here every time we want that. And we're going to have to get all this stuff built as well. So there we go. And while I'm standing in here, the power grid is seriously struggling. But it's fine. So now we run out this way, and we just keep on doing all this construction. Apparently, we can just pass... Apparently belts can pass over water, but machines can't.
Upgrade.
That's what I'm getting from this. Alright, unlock mecha flight. So press space twice to lift off.
Flight mode.
Huzzah.
You're now able to fly. Press space twice to lift off, and then press the direction
And
keys
that's
to
alt
move the mecha.
to land the mecha.
In flight mode, mecha speed
Convenient.
is boosted by 150%, and energy consumption is increased.
Alright.
Press alt to land the
So
mecha.
that's handy. So now we want to unlock more technologies. So plasma extract refining, which is going to need fluid storage encapsulation first, I guess. Okay, let's get that out of the way. I really need to go through all these tutorials at some point. That'll be a job for later. For now, we've got production things to automate. So, arc smelter needs stone bricks, which are just in an arc smelter themselves. Ironic. Ah, I keep hitting escape to clear out, and I keep clicking it one too many times. So we grab a bunch of those, and then we can... That will let us craft up that smelter. And also the fact that the power grid dies every time we happen to be within range of one of these wireless power towers is certainly a thing. Okay, so we now just pop a smelter down, and we're going to fuel you, and you are going to be making stone bricks. And then you will be outputting, rotate the thing for that. So then you output onto that belt. And we just get a random Tesla tower. Alright, so now we have stone bricks. So stone bricks, check. Then we need iron plates, green circuits, and what are these things even called again? Magnetic coils. So we just need to get that constructed. So let's get a random assembly machine down, and you are going to be set to make arc smelters. And so you need green circuits, so we'll continue this belt forwards. Then you don't need gear wheels, so I guess that belt will end there. But you do need iron plates. Gosh, the fact that you can... I'm so used to leaving these gaps, but it's not necessary here, right?
Research
That's
complete.
quite convenient. So we've unlocked fluid encapsulation. So that's cool. And then finally we can do this plasma extract refinery. So what did this even give us? It gave us water pumps and storage tanks, sure. So this gives us oil extractors, oil refinery, and plasma refining recipes. So that's going to be a whole thing. For now, we have this, which we want to finish off. And we need to get magnetic coils and stone bricks down here. So we can get a splitter onto this, right? Alright, how does this work? So do we have to dismantle you and then build the splitter and then go from there? So
A
you go
splitter.
in. You
It
go
can
into
split
there.
the cargo passing through
You
or
go out
manage
to
the
there.
cargo on multiple conveyor belts. The splitting speed depends on
And
the
then
conveyor
you go out to
belts.
here.
Press tab to switch between different patterns. Click
Okay.
on it to set priorities and filters.
So you have priorities, sure. And alright, the important thing is that it's working, right? I'm not going to spend too much time staring at that, it just works. So now we take this belt and we loop it into this same not quite bus type thing that we have going here. And now we just start loading in all of those. And we can then build a box to take the output. And you are going to be limited to like one stack, and apparently our power poles don't quite reach. So that is arc furnaces automated. Yet another step down in our goal of not having to construct things manually. The next one is going to be Tesla towers, which should be a lot simpler than even that. So we just need you and what are these crafted from? Iron plates and magnetic coils. So we just get that belt across. We get that belt across. Then you go in and you go in. And Tesla tower automation. And we're going to need to craft up another one of these, which is going to require more iron ingots. So let's yoink some, and these boxes are probably going to be next on our list of things to automate. Okay, then that needs to be powered.
Replication complete.
And that's all good. You get a box to fill, which is going to be super limited. Okay. So that is all that. Okay, one of our goals, lab efficiency. Build a matrix lab on top of another one. You can do that? Okay. Sure, I guess. We need more iron plates for this crafting. So let's grab some of those and then click that. So you seem to be limited by output, so I guess we can just stack you like that. Neat. And there goes the power grid. Wonderful. Okay. So we need to get wind turbines automated at some point, or alternatively just find some better source of power. Where's Hollow Beacon? What is this?
Abnormal dark fog
Planning
signals
stuff.
detected.
Okay, sure.
A significant statistical correlation exists between the density of these signals and our power consumption. On this planet, dark fog is monitoring our energy fluctuations to determine how much
so it's
threat we pose.
based on power
When this threat
production,
peaks,
I
they
guess.
may launch an attack. The upper left corner of the screen shows the cumulative threat.
Yeah,
each hive.
already noticed that one. There's also this space hive thing, which is at 0, which seems very terrifying. Okay, so first of all, we need plates, gear wheels, and magnetic coils in order to automate. The things that we're trying to do. Why am I blanking? Wind turbines. Yes, wind turbines. That's what we're doing. So if we put you there, then you wrap around this way and then come up to there, because we just need a huge amount of wind turbines, and I think we can place them in water now, because I think one of our texts said that we can do that, which should help, but we're going to need a lot of them, which means automatic construction. Fortunately, I'm so glad that more games don't do the Satisfactory thing, where if your power grid is overfilled, then everything just explodes and makes you sad. I'm very, very glad that that is not the standard. Alright, so that was in the way for some reason. If we put you there and you there, and then you get to be wind turbines, and this constant yellow flickering certainly gets your attention, but it is also a constant flickering, which is not ideal. Okay, so that is that.
Research.
Now we've got this nice ocean here. We finished the tech that we were doing. So now, okay, so we've got those two in. The power grid seems to have stopped flickering for some reason. I'm not sure why. It certainly wasn't that placing 2 more wind turbines instantly solved the problem. It's probably some machine that... Oh, it's probably this... the science stuff finished. Right? Because that stopped as soon as we stopped doing science. That makes sense. Okay. So all this is going, and we need to start doing something with oil, which seems to be unlimited, which is cool. So how do we make an oil extractor? Is that under collection? And we need some weird things to do, some triangles, and also steel. Alright, so that will be a job for the future, I guess. In the meantime, we're gonna get this power situation fixed up. And is this So you are just very slow to craft. Why is that? Okay, so this... Go all the way back here. Are you short on some input, or is the crafting process itself just slow? No, you've got plenty of stuff. Oh, it's actually the output process that's slow because of this belt being terrible. Okay, so 2 steps to fix that. First off, we can make this go closer, and then we can make you a Mark II outputter. So that should help. It's not going to solve the problem, probably, but it should be giving us a fair bit more output of that, which should result in all of these guys showing up again. And does this show like average production? Probably. That's probably what it does. So the arc smelters are capped. The Tesla towers are capped. So now this is going at full speed, and it's not limited by anything. It's just 11.3 per minute for some unknowable reason. And now we have power. So we can take these and just pop them in everywhere. And all of these guys go around. We might as well build them here in this ocean because the land is more useful to us. So these just go along. And I don't know how many of these I'm even gonna want. But this should put us pretty well ahead in terms of power generation. Of course, I was flying for all of that because I was over the water. So let's just get back to a nice, comfortable wireless transmitter thing. And now, even while I'm charging, we still have plenty of power. I mean, I say plenty of power, like a little bit more than we consume, but still pretty good. Okay, so more science-y stuff. What science-y stuff do we want? Maybe in the upgrades tab? Drone engine. Getting those guys faster would be nice. More mecha fuel speed. And okay, blueprints apparently exist. But we're going to need a bunch of circuits for that. +1 construction drones. Inventory capacity shouldn't be necessary. Yeah, okay, let's just leave that behind for now, and instead we've got some options in the tech tree itself. Like
Mineral depleted.
Okay, that just goes to the next tier. Alright, so then let's just do basic chemical engineering. We've depleted a vein. I guess one of these iron veins, probably. This is not the world's largest iron patch, so that would make a lot of sense. Okay, so we have power fixed. We have a lot of things automated, though not everything. So now let's go around to figuring out this whole oil extraction nonsense. So we need steel, which is smelting iron plates. And then we need plasma exciters, which are magnetic coils, plus prisms, which are glass. Okay. So, if that's true, then we will start by doing that. So I think I saw this correctly, that we just have you go into there, and then you can... No, it's probably in a smelter. It's probably in a smelter, I should have checked. Where's that? Okay, we have those. So we're going to have to pick up a stack of 50 of those. And just pop you down there. And yes, so you do glass. Like so. And then we also need to run all the way back here, and this is going to be incredibly confusing and difficult to find where everything is as this expands even more. And we're definitely going to have to, at some point in the near future, we're going to tear all this down to come up with a more reasonable, organized system for all of this. But for now, this is what we've got. So we've got glass going there. And actually, let's... The fact that this is all like by the ocean is quite a concern. Red science unlocks a way to fix spaghetti. That is good to know. I guess we'll have to find that and hold out until then. So, we get this to make prisms, and alright, I just heard a funny sound. I don't know what that funny sound was. I keep hitting escape too many times. Okay, so now we're making prisms. So that is that. Then we need... I'm going to tip they never make obvious, but super useful. Yeah, sure, go ahead. I do like tips. Okay, so then we have to combine that with these guys, which are conveniently right there, to make the plasma exciters. So you go into there. This belt will, I guess, expand out a little bit more. And then you go
Production
into there.
facility has stopped running. If it's not due to a power failure,
Okay.
check if
Why
products
am I getting that
overflow,
warning now?
or if there aren't enough raw materials. These
Why
may
am I
cause
getting that warning
facilities to
now?
fail. Plan your factory in a reasonable manner and balance production and consumption to ensure orderly
Okay.
operation.
Thank you for the tutorial. I feel like that should have come ages ago, but cool. I don't know what machine they're talking about. You can put storage on top of a splitter, which lets you load or unload at belt speed, consuming no power. Huh? Okay, so we have... Oh, I see. Like... Yeah, okay, that makes sense, actually. Okay, that's cool. I'll definitely have to remember that. So, we have to take our prisms out there. And you go out to there. You go into there. And that should make those. Then what else did I need for these oil extractors? Oh, right. I need to do steel, and then I need to get all the other stuff in here. So, the iron plates are here. And let's just... Alright. I feel like there's some clever way of just snapping a splitter onto an existing belt, but I don't know what it is. So, we will have to do something else. So we get this belt over here. Do we have space for anything? Not really. The spaghetti. It's so terrible. Cannot snap a splitter onto a belt without mods. That's a shame. That would be convenient. Okay, so we will have to disconnect you. Get this belt. Okay, but so you can go around this way and then down to ground level. And now you feed into a splitter. And then this one can go back up and connect back into there. Okay, so that is connected back up and functional, and then we have free availability of iron plates for smelting. So we get you. Actually, that's going to be a weird spot. So that belt goes along there, and we get the smelter right next to it. And you are going to make steel. And then we can bring power down to this area as well. Just like that. And then the steel goes out onto a belt. And the goals seem to show up semi-randomly, but now we want to do foundations, which would be convenient because this is all by this massive chunk of water. Okay, so steel check. I'm pretty sure we had stone bricks somewhere up there. Got the prisms there. And okay, so now we just have to sort of get everything in one place, which I guess will be down here because that's where we have available space to build. So this can come along that way and just sort of sit there for a bit, and we'll work out where you're going later. Alright, so then we need the green circuits. So those need to just sort of sneak out here, go up and around that way, and then back down, and then over into the right general area. So there we go. And then we need our stone bricks, which fortunately we're sort of on the edge of everything anyways. So you go up here. Why is it? Okay, so you go up like that, and then you can run alongside the green circuits, and then all the way over to this side. So now we have something that almost looks organized in the short term until we instantly are going to break all of this in horrible ways, probably. So then we get in a assembling machine there, which our poor drones are certainly doing their best to keep up. So then you can automate the oil extractors so that we don't ever have to worry about that. I don't even know if automating oil extractors makes sense at this point, but we're going to do it because it's a game about automation. Alright, so these belts, we just need to awkwardly stand here while the drones slowly run around and build things. And there we go. Alright. So that is all of that batch of construction done. Now we just need to see how long these lanes go. Does this go this far? No, it doesn't. Alright. As expected, we are going to need to... So you go back a little bit. Then you are going to move over this way so we can get the inputs on both sides individually. So you go in like that. You are going to sneak around like that. And then this should be good enough. Because I think we've done it with 3 lanes like this before and it was fine. So there we go. And one more. So you make oil extractors. That side has to get attached in still, and then we need to find out where we did that power pole automation, and the massive backlog of tutorials that I definitely am going to read at some point is now filling like half the screen. So hopefully that doesn't keep getting worse. He says, no, it'll definitely keep getting worse. Alright, so power is in. And then we can just get... Did I really never automate depots? I need to circle around to automating things better in the future. Alright, so that goes in. And you just snap across. And now we have that going. Wait, am I dumb? Did I connect the wrong belt in? Yes, I did in fact connect the wrong belt in. Good job. Okay, so that belt has to go out. Then we need... I don't know why I had to click that like 3 times, but that belt goes in instead. I need to stop hitting escape too many times. So then that connects up. And now we just need to clear out all of these prisms from here. And just like that. Seeing a distinct lack of new items going on this belt, but hopefully that's happening. What's going on? What is your problem? You don't have any magnetic coils because has production stopped, or is it just not making it back here? Where are you? Okay. All the iron is going this way, and so we're not getting the magnets often enough. Okay, so let's find...
Insufficient materials.
Oh, I didn't actually construct more of those. Alright, that's fine. So we're going to need to find more iron input, I guess. Where... Are the iron nodes anywhere convenient? They're like all the way over there on the other side of the factory, or all the way here super far from everything. Okay. So, that's... Both of those are annoying places for them to be. Can I craft up a couple of these so that we can just take some power over, and then we're going to need one of these at least to get access to the new iron supply. Could add like one more vein onto here and just to drain this even faster, but we're gonna have to head over to that other iron spot at some point anyways, so it might as well be now.
Replication complete.
Gosh, these things go so far. And it's somewhere down this way, and there's coal and stuff down there too. Okay, so these are going to take us a whole giant distance, and we might not quite have enough space, or we might, who knows. Okay, so yeah, the wireless power towers take us down to here, and then we'll just use regular old Tesla towers to get us the rest of the way. And now we can put on one of you for now. It'll be more later. And then that is going to have to bring the belts all the way up this way. And we get a power pole so that this can actually produce stuff. And there it goes. So that is a new supply of iron, and we're going to have to run back to get more belts, obviously. So let's do that. Tromp all the way back up to the factory. These poor drones just barely not able to keep up. Alright, so up we go.
Your home base has grown. Now you can
And
click
we
the
can view
statistics
statistics.
panel button
Neat.
at the bottom right corner of the screen to view statistics, including the production
Research.
and consumption of
How are you
each
liking the
item
game?
and
It's
power
pretty
data.
neat.
This data can help
It's
you
different
manage
from like
things.
Factorio and Satisfactory stuff in an interesting way. The fact that it's all taking place on a sphere definitely warps my mind a little bit, but it's definitely interesting. Just like minor differences all across the board, but they definitely add up. So we're obviously still in the very early game, but like the ability to stack the science tower things is kind of crazy to me. It's weird that it's like 2.5 dimensional, whereas like Satisfactory is obviously fully 3D, and Factorio is fully 2D. This is like somewhere in the middle, which I think is quite interesting. I'm liking it so far. Alright, so that... There is some stuff you could do to make these drones go faster, right? Let's start getting some of those researches, because this is real slow otherwise. So that can go, and hopefully that research will finish soon-ish. Although it probably won't be soon enough to finish this giant belt, unfortunately. It's on your list. Yeah, so far, definitely enjoying it. I believe it's on Steam's summer sale right now, actually, so that's cool. At least it was, like, this weekend when I got it, so definitely worth checking out. So that belt goes all the way up. Hooray for the extremely long belts. Pretty sure there's some better way later. Working on Satisfactory Plus. Is that a mod? I really need to look into Satisfactory mods at some point, because I'm probably going to be playing them on stream at some point, but I just don't really know anything about them aside from the fact that they exist. Alright. So that is all the way up here. It's a complete overhaul mod. That makes sense. What sort of stuff does it change? Alright, so the iron belt is almost here. We just need to get the last little bit. So you go up and over that. And please get all of these belts in. So all that goes through. And then up here. So now we just have to... I actually don't know how combining belts works in this. So I guess we're about to find out together. Hopefully it just works. Hopefully it just works. Might not, though. We might need to use a splitter type thing for it. Okay, it just works. Cool. So it's a priority from the center belt, but that's expected. So now that's all up and running again. And stuff seems to be going. We really need to expand production of all this stuff even more. So let's try to do what we can just in the tiny amount of space that we have available. So we can just bring you, then connect you. So we can get another one of these guys in. And that should help a little bit, because this guy was low on magnets. So that should help with a little bit. To make an iron ingot, you first need to mine the iron, then crush it, then sort it, then melt it down in a foundry, then take the liquid iron and cast it in the ingot, all while you get about 4-ish byproducts to deal with. Oh, it's one of those mods. Got it. Yeah, that's certainly a thing. Okay, power grid just flickered. Is that? Oh, that's probably just because I'm standing next to the wireless power tower. Yeah, I definitely understand mods can get very, very crazy with the complexity at some point. I don't know. Maybe that's the sort of thing I'd want to try. I'm not sure if that's quite it, though. Guess I'll have to think about it more when it comes around time for me to actually have available time to actually do that. Alright, but this is working now. And we've managed to produce a grand total of 0 oil extractors, but it's got to be like any minute now, right? Because these are actually coming down. Yeah, it's definitely more realistic. I would say that that's sort of futile to some extent. Like, you still have to do game design stuff to make it actually fun.
Upgrade complete.
Alright, so we've finished, and we now have more construction drones, and we've gotten our oil extractor. Very cool. So we can't do more of that until we have red stuff. So let's, I guess, then also make the drones faster, so that will also help. Okay, now, did I leave enough space around this to work? So we have to go into here. Oil extractor, I did not. Oh well, we've got more. We've got another one up here, which we definitely have enough space for. So you go in like that, and output drops by half after 12 hours straight. Okay, that's weird. Is that like, does that just continue dropping off forever, or does it do like Factorio where it drops down to a certain point and then is fine? Hopefully it's the latter. Alright, so we've got that, and then I guess we will get in a storage tank. By the way, does this just like go on belts?
You've built a storage tank, which is more suitable.
Alright, it just goes on belts. Thank goodness.
Each storage tank can only store one
so very
Storage
happy that we
tanks
don't
can
have
be
to deal
stacked
with
vertically.
pipe nonsense like in
storage tank is
Satisfactory.
dismantled,
This is much
extra
simpler.
liquid will fall to the ground.
Okay, storage tanks can also be stacked vertically. And now we've got a whole bunch of crude oil in there. And the goals are telling me to do a whole bunch of stuff to produce energy matrices. So that's red science. Okay. So, another one of the goals listed is foundations. What is all this stuff? Reclamation. Where is that technology? Is that something I can even do? It is. And the foundations are stone, bricks, and steel. So that's going to be a whole process in itself as well. So, let's do the red science stuff because that seems to make sense. So let's queue up smelting purification. That'll be next. And then in the meantime, let's just automate some things which I haven't done yet. Like depots. Depots are super low-hanging fruit that I just haven't quite gotten around to yet. And they're also pretty heavily used. So, stone bricks are here, the iron plates are here. They somehow only managed to overlap in this area, which is already fully used. So, let's just head down here, get another one of you in, and then the iron belt comes down there. And then the stone bricks go along to there. And then we just feed both of those in. You can make depots automatically. And then we will use our last manually crafted depot. Pop you down there. And now we have, yo dog, I heard you like depots, so I put some depots in your depot. Alright, so that's automated. What else is there that we haven't technically done yet? Mining machines, water pumps, oil refineries. Okay, oil refineries are just the same inputs as oil extractors. So, I should not have done this here, but it's fine. We can fix this. So, first of all, that needs to go back because we need to get the steel belt out. So, steel belt goes across, and that sorter needs to go away. So now the iron goes there, and I hit escape extra time again. Alright, so that's connected back up. And then we need to just grab all of these out to another equivalent row. So you go there, and we get an assembly machine right next to it. Then we run all of these guys around as well. And up that way, which is easy enough. Okay. So I keep hitting escape. Need to stop hitting escape. It's like always the wrong button. Except for when it's the right button. Okay, anyways. Now we can grab some of these depots and pop one into there. You are going to be doing oil refinery automation. And then wait, no, we don't need to expand those belts past up to the depot. That would be unnecessary. So we just have to get these guys in. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And now, if we had enough of these... What are those things even called? If we had enough plasma exciters, then we would be making those. Which would be cool, but we don't have enough plasma exciters, so we're stuck. So you are limited by just that input speed, it looks like. Stop hitting escape. I feel like when I hit escape, it works like 50% of the time and doesn't work like the other half of the time. And I can't tell what the difference is. Alright. So this is now going at... I don't know if this is accurate or not. 22.5 per minute, apparently. And we can get another one in here. Hopefully still have enough inputs to do that. So then that gets pasted, and then all that stuff gets set up. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. You're supposed to go back to there. This one is unnecessary. I thought I was in dismantle mode. Okay, now I'm in dismantle mode. And then that belt, I don't even know what that belt does, but just in case we need the glass to get out somewhere, then that can be handy. So now we've got more of that, and we really need to automate the tier 2 sorters at some point. That's going to be another thing. But now we're getting that down to there, and that has fully capped as well. Alright, so we have oil refineries. So that's progress. Next up, sorter Mark IIs need those electric motors, which are plates, gear wheels, and more of those. I can never remember what these things are called. What are they called? Magnetic coils. So we need plates, gear wheels, magnetic coils, which that's just they're all right here, but not in a way which is convenient to actually use them. Also, what is this belt? Because this belt is definitely out of whatever it's feeding. Is that the green circuits belt? Yes. What is your problem? Not enough copper? Okay, well that's an easy fix. We could just get another arc smelter in and then get you all hooked up. I don't know why this is spaced out so much. Yeah, so we should definitely just fix that as well. So this does not need to be super long trips like that. You can just go in like that. Ah, stop. Okay. So that then goes, and then you go out. That gets copy pasted, and then now we have to do the same thing on the input side. So that goes all the way back to there, and then we just loop you up like that, and you go in there and there. Alright, so that should improve the copper plate input. And, oh, dark fog threat, is it 96.6%? That's fun. Still have ammo. We still have this random gun turret in there, just in the middle of the entire factory for no good reason. Yeah, so if they attack up from this direction again, then I will assume that that's the direction they always attack from and just put a gun turret up there. And then that should make it nice and easy to deal with. But if they don't, then who knows? We'll have to figure out what to do about that when it happens. So 99%. I kind of wish I could just like have them go already, because now that I've noticed it, I'm not going to be able to just completely be distracted for the next 20 seconds before it happens. Alright, so this Matrix Lab is going. We're almost done with... What research was this anyways?
Dark fog cluster
Drone
is launching
speed.
an assault.
Yes. Alright. They are approaching. This time it's more due north. Okay, so we have We have plenty of power in the tank, and we're using physical ammo, so it should be fine. Okay, no, it does look like they are coming down this same sort of area by these wind turbines and the coal as they did last time. And we're just gonna have to
Upgrade.
wait for them to show up. Thank you, drone research. Alright, now we stand here and... Okay, I think I just got zapped or something. But it's fine. They have been defeated. Okay, second wave. Guess these guys got lost. Just two more random guys. There's like an entire paragraph of lore there, I think, or something. But I couldn't tell. Because you don't exactly have a lot of time to read it. Alright, let's get... We have this second turret. Now we know that this is the direction that they're probably just always going to come from. Hopefully. So we're going to put a turret there. And then we're going to have to get that belt all the way up there.
Turret is short of ammo.
Yep, I know.
Most turrets
just
need ammo
placed
to
it 5 seconds ago.
Click on a turret to open its panel and replenish
Did
ammo
you just say
manually.
turret?
Of course, it'd be better to constantly supply ammo
Sure.
with conveyor belts.
Okay, so we need to get this... That turret doesn't need to exist. Let's grab another stack of belts for this. And then, because those gear wheels happen to be elevated, we can just sort of drag this out this way, around this extraordinarily annoying little puddle. Then you go up and over this way, and you can just stay elevated, I guess. So this will bring our ammo up to the turret, and hopefully with that in place next time we shouldn't even need to think about it. We should just be able to handle the dark fog attack automatically. So where does this go? It's all the way up there. Okay. So you can just continue along and go through all of that stuff and then in. Okay, so now we just have to get all that placed, and fortunately we just unlocked a couple of drone upgrades to make that a little bit quicker. And so this all goes through, and almost there, just a couple random little chunks, and ammo is supplied. And that's going to use an unreasonable amount of copper, but it's fine. Okay, so this is everything, and I need to go stand in a recharge point. I'm down to like half. Alright, let's stand here while I think, and break the power grid in doing so. Very cool. Okay, so what was our objectives? We need to like do something. I still don't even know what the purpose of all this oil is. Like, what do we do with all this just yet? Yep. So we've got crude oil down into some bits and pieces. And then we turn those bits and pieces into other stuff. Okay, so I think currently there's just isn't anything immediately to do with the oil, so we're probably going to have to be unlocking that. So that is going... How is this, by the way? This is... Oh, I'd never... Yikes. It's a good thing the production here is painfully slow, or it would have produced like 10,000 of them. Hydrogen for red cube, refined oil for plastic, or just burn it for power. Alright. Good to know. Assume that'll be stuff that we unlock as we go through the tech tree. So, in the meantime, I still haven't gotten around. I was going to be doing this Sorter Mark II automation before I got distracted by the dark fog attack. So let's do that. Arc smelter now can be used for more effective ore purification and the production of higher purity materials. Smelting stone into silicon ore is a good option for planet lacking silicon veins. Alright. So is that like a different recipe that I need to swap it to for the supposed more efficient production, or is it just more efficient in general? Okay, it definitely said something about more efficient, but this doesn't seem actually more efficient. Okay, so I need to stop getting distracted and just get these sorter Mark IIs done. So we need the sorters, and then we need the EM motors, which are iron plates, gear wheels, and the coil things. So we have iron plates down here. We can make gear wheels. Are these gear wheels? No, those are something else. These are gear wheels, though. And they go into this area for reasons. So, okay, let's just dismantle some of this, get it onto a splitter, and then reattach things. So you go back a little bit. So now you attach into that, and you run up to there. Alright, so that gives us gear wheels. Then, what button is that? So we have gear wheels, we have iron plates there, and we have the coil things, so we should be able to make those. And then we need to find out where, is this at all possible to salvage this and get these items out, or are we just going to have to also bring green circuits down there? We already have green circuits down here, actually, so let's just create another assembler for that. So we head down here. Step one is we have our assembler in, and where do we want to build this? Probably just in line with this. I'm going to regret this when it turns out that we need these exact items for some other construction, but hopefully not. So you make sorters, and we take these belts along, and okay, you're gonna collide with that Tesla tower, so we just have to go around that, I guess. And then you do that. It's a bit of a mess, but whatever. Then we take these green circuits forwards, and then we do that. So now we have a supply of sorters which we can use down here. Then we need to, I probably should have made the electric motors first, but that should be fine. So we need iron plates. We need the, where are those things? Are they all the way back here? Yeah, so these are all the way back here, so we just need to sort of sneak these out somewhere. So you go up a level. No, don't attach in like that. No, oh, stop it, stop it, stop it, please. Okay, that's annoying. Definitely did not want you to attach like that. So we can just dismantle that, get you reconnected again, and we're gonna have to send you back a couple so that you can get up to the next level in time. Okay, so now you're up like that. We can now run you out and just sort of, I guess, over like that. And then you can just drop back down to ground level. And now we just sort of bring you over here. So you are going to have to come all the way around that loop. And just get all this stuff built in. Alright, so now we have all that. We need to get... We need some space in there because we're going to need to get those both out separately. So you are going to be making electric motors, which takes this in and that. And then where was that gear wheel belt? It was up here. And it seems to be broken somehow, so we'll have to investigate that. For now, we can just get all this stuff built up. And that should give us our electric motors. And now to figure out what's gone wrong with the gear wheels. Oh, I see. That did not connect up properly somehow. So we need you to connect down to there. And fixed. Alright, gear wheels acquired. So now we just pop down a Tesla tower in there. So this is now producing. And that should be all good. So you then need to have an output, which will be something like that. And then we just take those plus these loaders and make our loader Mark IIs. So that you can just immediately drop back down to ground level, sort of wrap around like that. And then we can get in, I guess we might as well build it right here. An assembly machine to make sorter Mark IIs. And now we just need all of these to attach in. And that needs to attach as well. And then these just go to a box. So just like that. And we're going to need to limit those to one stack so we don't get 10,000 of them. And that should be pretty solid. Man, that's just barely within Tesla tower range. It's weird that the Tesla tower ranges are circles when everything is on a grid. Kind of makes it hard to tell, like, whether something counts or not. Alright, so now we have those. What's next? We might as well do something with our research, right? So let's... Is this stuff... Okay, it's weird magic stuff. Who knows what that is? Let's unlock energy matrix. You might as well. Okay. So... How do you... It wants us to make energetic graphite in arc smelter as our next goal. So that is just coal in an arc smelter. That makes sense. And apparently that'll lead us to making red cubes somehow. So we've got our coal input belt all the way up here. And we can just get an arc smelter and load you up. And you can make energetic graphite. And then output onto a belt somewhere where I'm sure we will figure out something to do with that eventually. Okay, the power grid is complaining again. So let's find somewhere to put some more wind turbines. Do I have... Okay, I need to pick some up from the box that I have over here. And let's grab those. And now we just need to find somewhere to put all these. So I guess we can squeeze some in here. And that was slightly off-center. Now all of this is going to be slightly off-center. That's terrible. Ah, well. It's not that big of a deal. It just ruins the nice, pretty squares. Okay, so this, we just have to place a whole bunch of these guys in. At some point we're going to need some better system of power generation. I think we're pretty close to unlocking those. But for now, this will have to be enough. Okay, so now we've got more power, and it looks fine again, although I need to land because, just speaking of power, we are absolutely shoveling it in the garbage there by just hovering like that. So now we can go up here, and again, even when we stand by a power tower, we are just barely actually able to keep up with demand. And then when we aren't standing next to a power tower, we should be a lot more fine. I think we're probably going to wrap up the stream here for the day. This is just about when I normally start to wrap things up. So, thanks everyone for hanging out. I will be doing Dyson Sphere program every Tuesday and Thursday from 2 Eastern Time to around 5-ish Eastern Time. So if you're interested in that, make sure to give me a follow so that you know when I'm live. I also play Factorio on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, where we are very slowly starting to produce enough legendary circuits and red circuits to make useful things. So if you're interested in seeing that, make sure to stop by on the other weekdays. Otherwise, thanks ever for hanging out. And that's about it. We're going to wrap up now, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.